You may be familiar with this feeling. Or this.
Lester Burnham. Thank you.
Or even this.
Just a moment. Corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking. Just a moment.
These films vividly illustrate sad, weary, and anguished minds in which the character feels trapped in a monotonous, repetitive, tumbling dryer of a normal life, where a 9-to-5 job is the biggest enemy there is. It certainly strikes a chord with the audience, as I would even go as far as to say everyone at some point have felt a feeling of emptiness and search of meaning in what we do. Is this it? But this is not the chord Amelie wants to strike. This film is a warm hug compared to its contemporaries. It is not necessarily a story about an extraordinary life. It's rather a story about a very simple life that's lived in an extraordinary way, seen from an extraordinary point of view. While other films deconstruct the concept of a normal life, often portraying it as one of sadness and disillusionment, Amélie highlights the beauty of it.
Yes.
Small gestures, quirky moments, the normal things that happen every single day. There's beauty in it. You just have to look around you in a different way.
J'aime bien me retourner dans le noir et contempler les visages des autres spectateurs.
We're first introduced to Amelie's childhood, where her eccentric parents mistakenly believe she has a heart condition, whilst in reality, her heart races only because the health checks are the rare moments when her father makes physical contact. This eventually leads them to homeschool her. With limited access to friends, Amelie develops a vivid imagination, finding value in, more or less, whatever she can. Despite the seemingly sad aspects of her life, like losing her mother in a freak accident involving a suicidal Canadian tourist, I would still say that the film manages to portray her world in a whimsical and somewhat amusing way. When she turns 18, she leaves home, and some years later finds herself as a waitress at a cafe in Montmartre. From here on out, we get to see how she lives her life, and we get to see it through her eyes, a childish and imaginative point of view. She finds joy in simple things like dipping her hands in grain sacks and cracking creme brulee with a spoon. And as the story unfolds, we're shown passion, despite its many strange forms. This film is really a reminder to maintain this passion, any passion you might have had, if you happen to have lost your childhood along the way. And it doesn't have to be extraordinary.
Ton négoce, le temps finit pas de se traîner, puis du jour au lendemain, on a comme ça 50 ans.
In the films mentioned earlier in this video, the characters have lost all forms of passion and seemingly all connection to any form of childish imagination, which is the polar opposite to Amélie's character.
Les temps sont durs pour les rêveurs.
Throughout the film, we catch glimpses into the lives of a variety of quirky characters, getting to know them through simple yet effective details about their likes and dislikes. How her father likes to peel large strips of wallpaper, or how Suzanne, the owner of the cafe, being a former trapeze artist, likes athletes who cry with disappointment. It's somewhat of a dull yet beautiful way of giving these characters personality, by simply highlighting their strange pleasures and discomforts. An approach that, at least for me, ignites a curiosity in people that we might have not cared about at all. It highlights the simple art of finding joy in little things, and not just finding it, but embracing it. We all have our own oddities, whether we recognize them or not, and this film gently reminds us to appreciate them. As we're introduced to these characters, it's impossible to ignore the fact that, well, let's just say they form a quirky group of oddballs. Yet the way they're presented makes the film feel, in a way, like a love letter to society's outcasts and misfits.
Vous, au moins, vous risquez pas d'être un légume, puisque même un artichaut a du cœur.
By showing us that it's okay and even good to be different. I've heard people complaining about the film containing too many random and unnecessary scenes, but I strongly disagree with this statement. I think these scenes of random people and occurrences are crucial to giving the film its soul, its fresh perspective on society. As the story in the film moves on, there is one incident that is pivotal for Amélie's life. She finds the hidden childhood memorabilia of a boy who lived in her apartment decades earlier, and she makes it her goal to return this treasure to him.
Si ça le touche, c'est décidé. elle commence à se mêler de la vie des autres. Sinon, tant pis.
After some struggling, she manages to track down the right man and give him the box, and she does so anonymously. This is where the story evolves into something more, marking a pivotal shift in Amelie's life, and the lives around her, after seeing the man's joy upon receiving the box, and his decision to even reunite with his daughter because of it. Amelie keeps her promise to herself and decides to continue performing small acts of kindness for the people around her. But through these gestures, she's off in her own head, only living to see what happens in everybody else's life, in which she eventually neglects her own. And yes, although she finds happiness in helping others, there seems to be something lacking in Amelie's life, something personal. While she's focusing on everyone else, there is, however, one man that keeps an eye out on her, the so-called glass man living in the same block as Amelie. Dufayel, a passionate man that replicates Renoir's painting Le Chien of the Boating Party every single year. However, he's always struggling to capture the look of the girl drinking a glass of water. The girl becomes a symbolic standing for discussing Amelie's own life. When she and Dufayel talk about the girl, they're really talking about Amélie. And while both seem to be aware of this, she's somewhat reluctant to admit this to herself.
Autrement dit, elle préfère s'imaginer une relation avec quelqu'un d'absent que de créer des liens avec ceux qui sont présents.
Amelie has grown afraid of facing reality in her own life. In fact, when life finally offers a chance for her daydreams to become reality, she's terrified. She wants to retreat to the sidelines, hoping to stay unnoticed. She longs to make the world a better place, but she doesn't want attention drawn to her. It's an important message that I would assume resonates with introverted people. While it might be comfortable to take a spectator's point of view by somehow living your life through other people, sometimes we have to let life happen to us. But there's something else I also want to highlight about this movie. Achieving the unique style of the film would not be possible without two key factors. One, coloring. The whole film is incredibly colorful and bright almost all the time. As I mentioned earlier, her childhood seems strangely happy, despite its dullness. This is much thanks to the brightness and warm colors, because that's what it is. A very warm film inserted with reds and greens. In general, almost no scenes are in complete darkness, and there are very few scenes in which blue is the prominent color. Most of this was achieved as a result of the DI process, but some scenes were also shot with an 81 EF filter to add warmth and color. Take a look at these examples of still shots from the film. The original shots are on the left, while those on the right have had some of the warmth removed to achieve a more natural lighting effect. It's clear that director Jean-Pierre Jeunet had a distinct vision for the film's visual style. 2. The score. One of the most iconic film scores ever, and my personal all-time favorite. Composed by Jan Tiersen, the soundtrack captivates the optimistic, magical, and curious nature of Amélie, as well as giving hints of French romanticism. Both the color palette and the score invites us, the audience, to experience the world as Amélie sees it, full of wonder. So, the next time you're in a situation like this, try to think, how would Amélie look at this?